buy in on this, and then later you're watching like the Asians like just collect all the millions, right?
So reparations, they got to do reparations specifically for foundations.
Okay, let's get you to buy in on this, and then later you're watching like the Asians like just collect all the millions, right?
So reparations, they got to do reparations specifically for foundational Black Americans.
How do they tell who's foundational?
That's what we're doing out here in California. They have a reparations committee that we've been on their bumper, and we made sure that they made it lineage based, because there were people trying to make it race based so they can just give it to any Black person who was harmed by racism. That's very dangerous, because if you do that, you allow other immigrant groups to come in. So now Hispanics can say, well, I was harmed by racism, I need to get in on that too. You got to make it lineage based.
So let me ask you a question. So two people who came from, one came from Trinidad, one came from Haiti. They've been here since the 90s. They had a kid. The kid's now 30. The kid says, all I know is here. I need some of that reparation money.
Because he's not a descendant of slaves in America. He's not a foundational Black American. The foundational Black American reparations claim is a specific claim about slavery. See, this is not a claim about racism, okay? If we want to have a reparations thing about racism, that's a whole different claim. We're talking about something that happened to a specific group of people. We were enslaved in this country. We were never compensated for it. We need that group compensated. You can tell who's a foundational Black American. You go back to the 1870 census. If you can trace your lineage back to that census, you're a foundational Black American. Also, you have to be classified as Black for the...
All right, folks. All right. So good evening. Hello, it is Saturday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. All right, so of course we have Nicole and we have additional co-hosts tonight. We have Dave Anderson of the Business Bully with us, joining us at the top of the hour. And we also have Chaotic from Chaotic Truth right here on YouTube, joining us tonight. How's everyone doing tonight?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. I am great. I am so excited about our conversation. Before we get into it, please, folks, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe right now. If you haven't subscribed, definitely do that and hit that thumbs up. That helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube. So, of course, we're here on YouTube and Rumble. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out all of our super chats. So it's the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show your love for conservative content. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right. And as you guys can see, I'm wearing one of the shirts that we offer here at Pop and Politics. It says, I don't need your DEI. I don't know if you guys can see it there, but this is just one shirt. We have this one. We also have it in a sweatshirt, tons of merch for you guys to support us. We certainly appreciate that. You can go to our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com and click shop, and you can get all of our merch right there. All right, so buckle up. We've got an action-packed show for you all tonight. Again, we're going to do Stephen A. Smith. You know, he's breaking the mold, getting red-pilled, and taking down Democrats left and right. Meanwhile, we're also going to get into Trump, who was in North Carolina and California, serving a master class as he absolutely roasted LA Mayor Karen Bass and the other Democratic leaders. But that's not all. We're also going to talk about the ladies of The View losing their minds over the fallout from failed Democrat policies. We're going to also get into Nancy Mace tonight. She completely annihilated former governor here right in Maryland, Martin O'Malley. But before we get into all of that, we got to dive into this. What is the foundational Black American movement? And how did it impact the 2025 election of President Trump? So before I get you all to sound off, I just want to, because some people don't know what is FBA, what is the Foundational Black American Movement, and this is what I kind of think about it. I want to get your thoughts on this, Business Bully. But basically, it's led by Tariq Nasheed, who emphasizes the unique lineage and cultural identity of Black Americans who descended from enslaved Africans in the United States. So the movement primarily focuses on issues like reparations and cultural preservation. As you can see, we had that clip at the beginning of the show. That was Tariq Nasheed. So the movement intersects with Trump primarily on policy views like restrictive immigration, from what I can see specifically on Tariq Nasheed's page and his interviews. They FBA movement does not like illegal immigration. And also protecting resources for Black Americans. The movement also criticizes Democrats for neglecting Black voters. So this is kind of what I've gathered. So you tell me, because we took a lot of flack from our initial show.
Most assuredly.
The FBA movement. So
yeah.
Business Bully, I want you to tell me what you have on this, and then why did we take a flag? What did we say that was incorrect? And then I'll get you in on chaos.
Okay. First of all, thanks for having me. So happy to be here. Secondly, a couple of things. Number one, I'm not really here for a quote unquote movement. It's not a thing for me. I don't have any leaders. To me, it's more about lineage than anything. And lineage and cultural identity are extremely important. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm hearing like some type of...
Yeah, I heard it too. I don't know what that is.
Like if somebody got to fix their CPAP, like we need to get that looked at. I haven't had one in 5 years. So the thing of it is, it's no different. So KJ, for example, your husband's Haitian, right?
He's Trinidadian.
My mistake. He's Trini, right? But that's a distinctive lineage than somebody who is Jamaican or something along those lines. And then there are people who say, well, why not just identify as African American? And I'm like, because Charlize Theron's an African American. Elon Musk is an African American. It's a slippery slope with that. As far as a movement goes, that's not really my thing. To me, it's more about cultural identity, and it doesn't just go as far as slavery. You have, if you look at Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, who wrote They Came Before Columbus, if you look at Lerone Bennett Jr., who wrote Before the Mayflower, Black people have been here, before the quote unquote founding of the country. So we have a long storied history. This is our particular land. And unlike many other lineages, you can't just up and deport us if we piss you off. The other part of that is when you look at how illegals have been propped up and given homes and given benefits, but we've got veterans, regardless of all colors, struggling with issues they picked up as far back as the Vietnam War with Agent Orange and all that kind of nonsensical BS, and people who go do 3 tours in Afghanistan, Iraq, Fallujah, wherever, and they can't even get health benefits when they fought and bled for our country. That's absolutely ridiculous. And so our main thing, at least the foundational Black Americans that I deal with, are more about making sure that America's promise is held for everybody. And I think a lot of times people get foundational Black Americans confused with Pan-African. That's a completely different type of situation, where it's like, yeah, we're a part of the diaspora, but we're talking about American. Even the flag isn't red, black, and green. The flag is red, white, and blue. Where you got flack was when you decided to call it a grift based on the problems or the issues that one particular person or a section of particular people tend to say this or that or that or this. It's your husband being Trini isn't a grift. And
my husband doesn't believe in handouts. So
no, again,
nothing to do with the government. Nothing to do with handouts.
And no, but the point of it is, right, regardless of that, because not all foundational Black Americans believe in handouts. I'm an entrepreneur. Exactly. I'm an entrepreneur. Right? You've never heard me say handouts.
Right.
The other part of that is, and my whole thing is run the receipts. I went to Tariq Nasheed's rally for reparations, and I spoke there. And you know what I said? Before we start asking anybody for anything, we need to repair ourselves. You can't say that you're going to start a revolution if you can't do a push-up. You can't say that you care about your community when you've got, the child support system being weaponized, when we have, fatherless homes, where we have educational systems. There's barely a kid in Baltimore who can read above grade level. So my whole thing is charity begins at home, and also repair begins with us. I'm not waiting for anybody else to do anything else for me. However, if you have the opportunity to repair Notre Dame, if you got the opportunity to leave millions and millions of dollars in Afghanistan because you're negligent, if you got opportunities to sit up here and give tens of millions of dollars to people who haven't paid into this system with their taxes, their time, or their energy, you got some explaining to do, because that in and of itself, whether you like it or not, is repair. And when you look at Black people who live in densely populated, poor Black neighborhoods, and they don't have access to, clean food, clean water, look at what's happening in Flint, Michigan. Those things are things that are troublesome and should be getting the ire of all Americans, regardless of whether they fall on this or that or that or this. But to me, it's more of a heritage and a lineage more than it is a quote unquote movement. I don't need a leader.
I want to get you in on, before I get you in on this chaotic, I want to get you in on Nicole, because we were on the show and we did get a lot of flack. And so what would be your response to Business Bully?
Well, there's some of the things that he said that I could absolutely agree with. That as a community, as a culture, we've got some growing to do. And we can't look outside of our community for a lot of that growing. A lot of that depends on us. The part about the reparations, though, that's a harder sell. Unless we go back to the beginning of the chain and demand reparations from the African nations that put us in cages and sold us from the sand, the Caribbean nations where slave ships stopped, and some people got off and some people did not, it's much more difficult. And then, of course, as we were talking about earlier, how do you tell who's FBA and who's not? Who's going to make that decision? If you are, let's say, one quarter, your grandparent, one Black person in your family was a grandparent, then everyone else is Asian, let's say Filipino. Let's just pull that out the sky. Do you get lesser of a share? How does that break down? Where are we with that? How do we determine what this trillions of dollars is going to look like? Are we talking about cash? Are we talking about tax breaks? Are we talking about education? What does this actually look like?
Great question. Again,
before I get you in, Business Billy, I want to bring in Chaotic, because he has been kind of talking. You have a show where you deal and talk with a lot of FBAs. So what is your response to Business Bully and the movement in general? Well, not a movement, FBA lineage.
Mm-hmm. The FBA is under the direction. First of all, salute to UKJ and to the chat. The FBA is under the direction of Tariq Nasheed, are pretty much imbeciles who are highly irrational, highly emotional, and Tariq is definitely grifting. He's exploiting the emotions of people who are pretty ignorant, and he's doing a very good damn job at doing it, especially with his 3:00 in the morning late night tap-ins. The FBAs are a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult movement, and it's becoming a very dangerous cult. And I'm gonna get into the reparations thing in a minute, but it's a very dangerous cult. And I'm to the point now where I actually want to actually take in the information that I receive and report many of these potential domestic terrorists to the FBI. These people don't respect the First Amendment. These people don't respect the founders and what the founders and what this country has really done for Blacks, that no other country has really done for any, to be honest with you, most people. Now, in terms of reparations, I will agree, yes, Reparations are owed, and they should have been paid out and divvied out to the actual victims. Those would have been the individuals who were actually enslaved on the plantations. There should have been a census taken of the actual individuals that actually were on plantations. Reparations can be tricky. That's why commissions need to be formed, because a lot of Black Americans who have lineage going back hundreds of years in this country, they weren't enslaved. Most Blacks weren't enslaved. Most Blacks, I would even argue half the Blacks in the country back then were probably free men and free women. Um, I do believe that if reparations are paid out and you can actually trace the lineage to an exactitude, I would say $2 million over the course of 20 years in terms of payouts. And what I mean, $2 million in its totality, paid out over a 20-year course, maybe 25 years. But KJ, this is what I would say. When we get done paying your Black asses, can I use asses for a minute? When we get done paying your Black asses, no more cries of victimhood, no more cries of oppression, no more of this. We was enslaved and shit. None of that. No more. It's tiring listening to foundational Black Americans, and it's tiring listening to Blacks. Period. At this point, there's this fatigue that even Blacks like myself are, and I'm about to land the plane on wrong-winded, but there's this fatigue, and a lot of Blacks, a lot of whites, and a lot of people are tired of this trauma bonding narrative. Everybody on the planet, their ancestors, their grandfathers, forefathers have been through something. In Rwanda, you literally had a genocide in 1994. The Armenian genocide that was 100 years ago. The Jews in Nazi Germany. You could talk about the atrocities that took place over in Bosnia. Everybody has gone through something. Nothing. What I want to do, KJ, is let these foundational Black Americans know how unimportant they are on a global scale. And until we realize how unimportant we are, we're never going to move forward. We're never going to move forward if we think that we are at the center of the universe, and we are not. I wish that a lot of these Blacks would take maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't want to talk about that, but never mind. Well, I'll say it.
No,
I think a lot of these Blacks should take 7 grams of psilocybin mushrooms. A lot of these Blacks need their ego destroyed. And I think that's what it takes, so that you realize that you are not that goddamn special on the global scale. You literally had the Japanese torturing Chinese in the 40s and the 50s. The Battle of Nasang, I can't think of the proper name right now. You literally have had all these things. You literally have had I had a friend of mine in elementary school. She was a Cambodian girl. Her mom had to escape Pol Pot. Her entire family was exterminated under this maniac. So listening to Blacks, I just want to scream sometimes. I really do. And that's not really manly to do. But KJ, I'm telling you, get these Blacks reparations. Leave us alone. Nobody cares anymore. Take it. No more cries. No more of these stupid groups. No more respecting your culture in terms of that trauma bonding. I land the plane. There we go.
All right. So chaotic said a lot. I want to get your response to that, Dave.
Yeah, I can.
These Blacks. Last I checked, he looked Black to me. That one. Number two, everybody's not crying victim, and I think sometimes listening is an amazing trait to have. Especially, God is perfect in His design. That's why He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak. Never once did I say, "Oh, we need to we's victims and we's got to make sure we's gets everything from Papa government." I'm not on that. Full disclosure, again, I'm not hurting for bread and haven't been for quite some time. The truth of the matter is there are plenty of us who want to be left alone in order to build businesses. And we had a whole lot of issues with somebody cosplaying as a foundational Black American and saying, "Vote for me. I have an opportunity economy and we can talk about what can be while being unburdened by what has been." And everybody let that broad slide. when nobody, regardless of whether or not we're these blacks and we need to take 7 grams of mushrooms, 6 geese laying, 5 golden rings, and 4 bumps of coke off the back of a daggone ass, the truth of the matter is we have allowed people to ride roughshod on our culture. Now, the other part of that is, if we're not so impactful globally, why is everybody cosplaying us? When you look at our music, when you look at our movies, if you look at the way that we walked, Black Americans in and of themselves are extremely powerful. The most, powerful folks in damn near every human endeavor. Muhammad Ali. There have been more books written about Muhammad Ali than there are Jesus Christ. That is a statistical fact. Last I checked, he was foundational. Michael Jackson, greatest performer in the history of sound. So to act like we don't have global impact or reach when everybody's acting like us, go to Indochina. Hell, go to Osaka, Japan, and you will see people cosplaying as black people. They got entire hair salons where they're trying to nap up their hair. So not only are we influential, we're special. But yeah, I've never cried for victimhood. It wouldn't
Yeah,
make
and that's true. And
victimhood.
you're right. You're correct, business bully. And so this is why I'm kind of torn, because number one, the fact of the matter is Tariq Nasheed, he has not only called himself the leader of the FBA kind of movement. He is actually, he's went and what do you call it? He's taken it and copyrighted it. I mean, he is in charge of the movement. He's gone out and he has pretty much put himself at the helm. And when you go onto many of his platforms, when you hear different people, I mean, the number one thing, the most glaring thing we hear are talking about reparations. So it's kind of hard to separate, hear you saying this, which I agree. I have no issue with what you're saying. And actually, in our podcast when we did it a couple weeks ago, where we got so much flack,
Mm-hmm.
I actually was saying if it's what you're saying, I agree with. I have no issue with it. I should say I have no
Right.
issue. I'm really not so much about the separation and stuff like that, but I have no issue. But what you're saying and what you are describing is not what we're hearing online and outside of the online chatter as far as what FBA is. Before I get you guys to sound off, I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Folks, thank you all so much. We certainly appreciate you, everyone here. I have Jay Hunter with the $5 super chat, says, "We as Blacks globally are the inventors of slavery. We were the first slavery owners." All right, Jay. Thank you so much for that. Dog Mom, $5 super chat. Thank you, Dog Mom. She says, "Sonny and Whoopi are two of the biggest racists and the biggest race baiters to have ever been given a platform." I agree with you there. All right. Laura. Hey, Laura. She says, "Watch the Moses 10 Commandments." Exactly, Laura. Yep, that's where I'm on. That's the kind of time I'm on. Rico, thank you so much. Says, "Hey, Puddin'. Hey, Chica. What's good, Chaotic and BB?" All right, we know who Puddin' is, Nicole. All right. Thank you all so much. Certainly, please continue to keep the super chats coming. We appreciate the support, and it's the best way to get yourself in the conversation. All right. So I want to get you to your response to that, business bully.
As far as slavery being invented by black people, what am I responding to?
No. Just from what I said, I mean, are you acknowledging that what you're saying is not what Tariq Nasheed pushes out in his, as far as the FBA movement?
Yeah, again, I don't speak for Tariq. I'm my own person. There are plenty of people like the same way the majority of people that we know are conservative. Hell, most black people, including foundational black Americans, if they actually paid attention to what policies were and what laws are, they would consider themselves conservatives. We don't want nobody to tell us how to raise our kids. We don't want nobody to tell us whether or not we can have our guns. We don't want nobody coming into our homes telling us what we can and cannot do. We want to be able to move about the country the way we want to move about the country and build the way we want to build. All those are conservative principles. The truth of the matter is what they have done, and this has been a psyop that has happened for the past 60 years, is they have told us that, well, first they said, black women, you're not black first, you're a woman first, and you need to come on here because I'm Gloria Steinem and I get paid from the CIA. I need you to come and leave your husbands and get into the workforce so that the federal government can collect income tax on your black asses, and then we'll give you, all of the welfare so that you don't have to have a man in the house. So there are all of these things that have happened that most black people conservatively are absolutely against, but we're told to be Democrats because they don't even know. And then they'll send off their goons through the media, whether that is Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, you name the tap dancing, buck dancing comedian that wants to sit up here and act like they're speaking for black people, and then they all echo what Sleepy Joe said, which is, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And so that part becomes a different thing. We all have differences of opinion. Everybody here doesn't agree on everything, right? I know people from Baltimore who believe they got better cheesesteaks than Philly. I've had them, they suck, but that's my opinion. There are people in Baltimore who believe that the Washington Commanders are going to be the Eagles on Sunday. They suck, but again, that's their opinion. I'm not going to be held to speak for somebody else when I'm saying for me and mine. I ain't on that. The other part of that is, I'm not here for a movement. I am here to do business. This is a corporation that has always cosplayed as a country, and that's what I love about it. I like to be able to exact the freedoms of being able to write the front of the checks so that my 300 employees can eat, and that I can consult, companies like the parent company of this show, Metro Conservative Media, because I do a damn good job of what I do. So again, handouts for me are not a thing. Tariq has to speak for Tariq. He's a grown man. He can put his pants on and does not need me to sound off for him. I understand why some people want reparations, but for me, and I'll land my plane on this, when we have any type of disparity as Americans, we all need to root that out, right? And that's the only thing I have ever said as far as that's concerned. But again, I'm not looking for daddy government to save me. I am looking to be left alone from tree-hugging liberal people who keep telling me that I have to give more and I have to do this and we have to pay our fair share and bobbity skippity bop, while they sit up here and do the exact opposite of what they preach. That to me is a bigger issue.
All right. All right. I wanted the chat is sounding off. I want to get you in on this chaotic to respond. Before I do, let me just acknowledge our super chatters here. All right, we have DC Slim says, "Hail to the Redskins."
Oh, y'all identify as the Redskins again? Y'all are confused.
Yeah, they're coming back.
That's a trans team. Y'all don't know who y'all are.
All right, then this Nicole, Nicole Steelers. That's right. Tremaine with a $10 super chat says, "Nicole, do you think it's possible to get the part of the Constitution that says we're 3/5 of a human amended?"
What happened to the 13th Amendment that
Right.
gave us full citizenship? Wasn't that already done, or do we not understand the Bill of Rights in 5th grade civics?
Right. Yeah. All right. There it is. All right, let's see here. Jay Hunter says, "I sent this video to brother William Crowley. He would have been perfect in joining you guys on this topic." Thank you so much, Jay, with the $5 super chat. We certainly appreciate you. Laura says, "What about the black doctors, judges, and all the highly educated black people? They are not looking for handouts." Absolutely. Well, I agree. I don't think all black people are looking for handouts now. $2 super chat from Nathan says, "A red heart." Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I did want to acknowledge someone on here said something about, I thought I saw about how Tariq Nasheed never said that he was in charge or he led this whole FBA movement.
Mhm.
And so he actually did. So he has come out and said that first he coined the statement. So he came out and I can't remember the year, but he is the founder of the Foundational Black American Movement. He also, I believe I read he coined it. So he trademarked it, I should say. He trademarked the term for use in merchandise and branding. But he has been across the board said to be the person who first started this whole idea and movement. Chaotic, what are your response to that? I mean, are we on the wrong road with that here?
I'm sorry. Repeat that. I'm sorry.
As far as Tariq Nasheed, leading. I mean, he comes
Yeah,
across.
yeah. Again, Tariq is a charlatan. Clearly, the fact that he has patent or made a patent for the foundational and trademark the foundational Black American says it all. Um, you know, I look at this culture and I get sick to my stomach, KJ. Um, Sometimes I look in the mirror and I get sick to my stomach. We are a culture of liars.
Mm.
We are not global trendsetters. We are not making an impact on a global stage. And I wish that we would stop lying to ourselves. And that's something that Tariq and these foundational Black Americans do. They lie so much. Steel, semiconductors, shipping and logistics, aeronautics, rocketry. That's real industry. Niggas talking over a mic is nothing. The planet will go on without rap. And you see a lot of foundational Black Americans, man, particularly in Tariq's space. They lead off on that. Oh, we changing the globe, man. You know, I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Rap could go away tomorrow. This planet will still spin. This planet will still spin. We are not the leaders in industry. We are not the leaders in system. We're just not. Uh, KJ, I would love to be the superior race. KJ,
Mm.
I would love to wake up one day and it's. I don't know what this thing is in front of me. Can anybody see this message? I don't know. It's something in front of me, but I guess you guys can see it.
No, we
I,
can't.
I would.
we know what you're talking about.
I would love to wake up, KJ, and it was a planet full of blacks just running things, building. Yeah. I would love to wake up, KJ, and it's black women just jogging outside at 5 a.m. because the black man has created such a secure and safe system where people won't even bother civilians. But we can't even get rid of our criminals, man, to be honest with you. KJ, I sit back and I see something brewing here. And it's something that is really bad with the foundational Black Americans.
Hmm.
These blacks don't understand the world, KJ. And the world is getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see something in 4 years that's going to be so bad for a lot of these cult members. Their cries will not fall. Their cries are going to fall on deaf ears. People are going to openly laugh at them. I openly laugh at them. I go to those spaces to troll. I'm not going to lie to you. I get off on that. I ain't going to lie to you.
Hmm.
Because they need to be trolled. Like this guy here, Supreme Abdul-Jabbar. Now, this guy, I bet he won't even call in. And KJ, can you ask me why he won't call in? He's been trolling me because I'm talking about FBA. KJ, can you ask me why Supreme Abdul-Jabbar won't call in? Please, just ask me. Go ahead, ask me. Come on.
Oh, why won't he call in?
He won't call in because I will challenge this Negro. I bet this person is lighter than me, has curlier hair. He ain't really black. I bet his significant other is a half breed. And I'm saying that with all due respect. And I don't know the person. And I'm saying this stuff out of love. But a lot of these blacks are a lot of these non-whites that are pretending to be black, like myself, a pure black, these people are in denial. These people are in denial about themselves and culture. And
well, this is the thing. This is my issue. It's just like, why are we separating? Why are we doing this type of thing where we're all kind of like in boxes and we're trying to separate? Why aren't we just celebrating America?
Because these blacks don't want to celebrate America, KJ. These people are they to a degree, a lot of these people are anarchists. They don't respect the Constitution. They don't respect Western civilization. These people are anarchists. I have open death threats on my life from foundational Black Americans because I tell the truth about these blacks. If you don't like this country, leave. If you don't like the First Amendment, leave. And these blacks, they're never going to come together, KJ. You guys are wasting your time. See, I'm not. I'm free of niggas. I'm free of these people. I'm tired of them. And so I look at a people. They hate the white man so much. but they live in this white man country. They work at the white man's jobs. They drive the
Well,
white
that's the
man's
thing. I
car.
think they believe. We believe. FBAs believe that it's their country. It's our country.
If
Nicole,
it
I
is,
want to
they
get you
need to.
in.
If it is their country, KJ, these blacks need to respect the laws and they need to respect the rights of every man. I got blacks DMing me, man. Nigga, I'll kill you if I saw you, man. Why? Because I'm talking.
No,
That's why. That I'm
no,
telling you. Okay, no, hold on. Let me finish. I was quiet. I ain't telling. Oh, I was quiet.
no. Please go ahead.
These blacks are dangerous. Ask these blacks. Hey, black, do you respect the white man? No, I don't respect the white man. You built everything. No, you didn't. KJ, if you left this country up to these foundational black, this extremist organization, these niggas will turn. Like where I live at, we have beautiful classical art. You know, classical architecture is. They will turn. I live in Cleveland. They'll turn the Cleveland Art Museum into a abandoned building because they don't respect the white man's architecture. They don't respect anything white. They will do anything possible to destroy it. City after city after city after city. KJ, look at Baltimore. Look at Baltimore. Sorry, just look at Baltimore.
I
KJ.
have headphones in, bro.
Let me finish, please. I didn't cut anybody off now.
Land the
It's
plane.
Look,
Land the
the
plane.
volume.
all you gotta do is look at Baltimore, KJ, where you guys are from. Look at what the niggas did in Baltimore. You left these FBAs to their own devices, and it's because of a mindset. It's not because they can't take care of it. It's because they have been taught to hate whites. They've been taught to hate this country that they just destroyed. And I'm only 40, KJ, and I've seen it in my life what foundational Black Americans or we as blacks do to a community. In my life, I've seen communities destroyed. Communities where you could eat off the sidewalk when all the whites were there. And niggas took it over, and it looks like Mogadishu, Somalia. So we got a lot of fixing with us. And one of it is, again, going back to what I was saying, we got to stop lying to ourselves. And I land my plane. I land that plane.
Yeah.
Shout out to Baltimore, by the way, guys. You know, it's no hard feelings. You know,
Well, no,
I did go to Bubble Gump Shrimp, that restaurant. Go ahead.
That's not Baltimore.
Okay.
That's the pier. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So a few things to that. You're either black or you're not. You can't be black and then not be black, right? The problem, and I think, and I can't speak to the people who are allegedly DMing chaotic and threatening with unaliving, which I'm not a fan of violence. Notice once, I'm not out here disrespecting anybody for having a difference of opinion. I have not gotten my voice up. I have not jumped up and down. I have not yelled and screamed to the point where, headphones had to be pulled out because of loud decibels. I think you can disagree without being disagreeable or disrespectful. I am looking in the chat and I see people are saying he's tether babble. He's probably not foundational. His folks probably don't have an American lineage, and I can't speak to any of that, nor do I care to. What I do care to do is to qualify. So let's talk about things that have been made better by foundational Black Americans. When you look at the Ford Motor Company, which had a consultant who's more famous for peanut butter named George Washington Carver, who helped come up with the assembly line. Huge. Garrett Morgan invented the traffic light and the gas mask. They use gas masks all over the globe last time I checked. Lewis Latimer fixed the light bulb, and Edison failed 1,001 times. Charles Drew, blood plasma and storage. I already know all the blood problems that happen in Africa. Matter of fact, I'm giving one of the largest entrepreneurial TED Talks in South Africa at the end of the year. So some of us are actually globally tuned in. The truth of the matter is, you don't have to disrespect people in order to get your point across. And then the other part of that is, I'm not really one for movements. I'm also not really one for groupthink or disrespect or tether babble. I'm also not really a huge fan of doing this thing where you're just sitting up here calling people niggas, one, in mixed company, and number two, in the most disparaging Clayton Bisbee-esque like way, instead of just sticking to the issues, because that's absolutely disrespectful and unnecessary. And the truth of the matter is, most people who have two connected brain cells and actually love and respect this country. For example, both my biological father and my stepfather fought in the Korean War. My grandfather ran through the night in Virginia and went to a naval recruitment station and fought in World War II. Lied about his age to serve his country. So there are plenty of us. By the way, I'm the son, brother, and nephew of actual police officers and state troopers. My father was a federal agent. So there are those of us who love America, who love the Constitution, and uphold everything that it has. No one has ever once gone to Al Pacino and said, "Hey, Al, you're an American. I know you're a proud Italian American, but why not just be American?" Our distinctions are what makes us special. That's what this is. This country is a cultural tapestry, and to act like it isn't is not only ignorant, it is willfully narrow-minded. And yes, black people have crime problems, but again, crime is going down. White people got crime problems. White people have a daggone epidemic of methamphetamines. Go to Kensington, which is literally 25 minutes from my home in Philadelphia, and you will see a set that looks like The Walking Dead just forgot to take all its stuff out of it. That is in and of itself a problem. Americans all have problems, but the truth of the matter is, where I'm from, here, like in Philly and most hoods in America, I've lived in 19 states, and I have spent plenty of time abroad because I have businesses on different continents, including the continent of Africa. If you talk crazy to somebody who came up in the hood and you disrespect them, you might get your jaw rocked. That's how that goes around here. So I would tell people, I would caution people to stay respectful and watch their tone. But you can disagree without being disrespectful.
All right. Nicole, I want to get you in on this. I want to take a turn because I know we don't have much time. We're going to almost close this portion of the show out. But FBA were pivotal in getting Trump elected. So we did see, especially men in particular, FBA men really turned out and got Trump into office. So is this? And I actually want to ask you this, if you could respond just with a short answer, Business Bully. Is this something you've seen within the FBA movement, and why or why not?
Is what something I've seen within the quote unquote FBA
That
movement.
a lot of FBA men turned out for President Trump.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah. I mean, I think here's what it comes down to. You can't continue to run the same play. My dad's favorite song, God Rest His Soul, was Ball of Confusion by the Temptations. Vote for me and I'll set you free. It's the same thing. We ain't got nothing to show for it. Doing something the same way every time and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And black men were like, "No, you're not going to sit up here and get Megan Thee Stallion to twerk or Fat Joe to perform at a rally and expect everybody to just fall in line." Or then you get Obama to come down from on high and start talking, "We'll talk to the brothers." And you're a misogynist because you don't want to vote for Kamala. Were we misogynist when we voted for you in record numbers over Hillary Clinton? Oh, okay, sit down and shut up. So that in and of itself is what that comes down to. We got tired of the real grift of the Democratic Party playing in our faces and not doing anything they promised.
All right. Now, chaotic. You're
Yeah.
conservative. And we did see FBA men turn out for Trump. So what does that say to you?
What it says to me is, what's that saying? I can't think of the name of the saying right now, but it's if you weren't with me when we were down and out, don't be with me now. I look at a lot of these blacks who did that, right? The very same blacks that in 2016, I had a lot of blacks. I was at the bar one time with a girlfriend's cousin. This nigga, he older guy, and he works for a very good company, Fortune 500. He looked at me and said, "Man, why are you voting for Trump?" I'm like, "What, nigga? What? Like, how dare you ask me something like that?" And I'll never forget that because now these same types of black men, bandwagon. That's another aspect of black culture, man. Bandwagon. You only
Sometimes people. What about you? Don't think they're waking up?
KJ.
So no one can change their mind.
I was quiet all the way. KJ. These blacks, like our culture, in the pitiful nature of our culture, we are bandwagon people. I can't stand that about our culture. We only vote. I've been supporting Trump since I've been a kid. But these blacks really only voted for Trump because it was no other option. Now, mind you, Tariq, he voted from the couch like a lot of blacks. But the black men who all of a sudden changed their mind. Well, yeah, you would change your mind when you got a knucklehead cosplaying Indian in office pretending to be a black person, and then you got a guy who literally was the worst president in U.S. history. So you had no other choice. But these blacks, hey man, just because they switched over, it don't impress me. Because I called them out, and I called them out on my show. I said, hey, goddamn it, where were y'all at 4 years ago? Where were y'all at? We didn't have to go through this. For 4 years, KJ, I was getting punked. I don't know about y'all. I can't speak for y'all, but I know I was getting punked. Put your mask on, right? Call me by my pronoun, right? For 4 years, because the same black men and the same other people, they didn't vote for Trump before. Now, mind you, it might have been a stolen election in 2020, but that's YouTube community guideline. But never forget, for 4 years, they were punking us. And now, these men, I voted for Trump. Oh, where were you at 4 years ago? For 4 years, getting punked. So, KJ, the fact that these FBAs voted for Trump means nothing to me at this point.
All right, so let me get Nicole.
I'm completely honest with you, KJ.
Let me get Nicole. honest with you. Let me get Nicole. What is your response to that? Shout out to Righteous Perspective. I see you in the chat, Righteous Perspective. Shout out. Thank you so much for watching. He has a YouTube channel here as well. Nicole, what do you say to this?
Listen, for whatever reason, I'm glad black men are voting conservative, right? We worked really hard to get messaging out. Everybody loves the winner, right? Everybody loves the winner. And as somebody, I think I share a little bit with Chaotic back in 2016. It was a little tough out here for us. As Black Republicans. KJ, you know what that looks like, right? You've knocked doors, had, rocks thrown, urine thrown, cussed out,
That sounds pissy.
The first 4 pages of my memoir is going to be maybe half a pike of print of all the dirty names I've been called by other Black people, right? So there's something to be said for that. However, I prefer people awake. I prefer people looking at ways that we can be together. And if somewhere in this melee that we're having tonight, if we can find some common ground and push our own community forward, I think we're working with something. But it seems like there's some underlying tensions here, fellas.
Right. I want to shout out our super chats here because, guys, we do have some super chats. Thank you all so much for watching. Almost 1,000 people watching tonight. Certainly appreciate you all. Sherry with the $5 super chat says, why do y'all have this fake non-FBA clown on y'all show making y'all ratings down? Because I'm unlike your channel with this channel.
Can I address her real quick? I'm gonna be very respectful.
Oh yes.
Cheryl or Sherry, I'm one of the most influential Black men in America. People across the globe know me as well. I'm popping in terms of the dialogue here. See, I'm a different type of Black. See, I'm a very different type of Black, Sherry. Now, I challenge you to call in. Challenge me. When did I say that was wrong? Do we control the steel industry? Do we control the semiconductor industry? Do we control rocketry? What did I say that was wrong? Rocketry? We ain't putting rockets in. We ain't going to space. Hey, Black man, can you put the satellite in office? Said no Black man. What I'm saying is, Sherry, we got to focus on being the superior race. See, that's my vision. So what am I saying, Sherry? And positivity's coming your way, but you like what I'm saying. That's why you sent that super chat. See, you wouldn't have sent that super chat if you didn't like what I was saying. Get the likes up, guys. Light Bear with a $20 super chat. Uncle Ruckus, Sambo 100. Yes, I'd rather be an Uncle Ruckus than a Tyrone shooting up the block. I'd rather be an Uncle Ruckus. I'd rather be an Uncle Ruckus than some nigga who got 50 kids in the city and ain't taking care of them. I'd rather be an Uncle Ruckus than doing a home invasion like some of these niggas. You need more Uncle Ruckuses like me. Y'all,
No, we don't.
yeah, man. Light Bear, you need the Uncle Ruckuses and the Sambos because we ain't destroying these black ass communities.
All right, I want to get your response to that.
Roy with the $2 super chat. We are all Americans. Forget about color. I agree with you on that one too.
I agree there too, and that's my thing.
I mean, outside of color, you know, I'm really.
I don't, you know, I'm a king, a daughter of the king.
Yeah,
and that's where I come from. But I want to get your response to what Chaotic just said, Dave.
Yeah. Really quickly, again, I'm a big fan of disagreeing without being disagreeable. I'm also not an extremist one way or the other. I don't think you need to be a buck-eyed tap dancing coon in order to be a conservative, nor do I think you need to be a pookie shooting up the block, because I've done neither. The truth of the matter is there are plenty of actual Black Americans who are making things happen. Otherwise, KJ, you would have to explain to me as half owner of MCM why you would have somebody who's out here shooting up the block or being some type of criminal or wasn't a legit businessman consulting your channel. Because the truth of the matter is, I've never met this gentleman. I don't know this gentleman. But I don't think you have to be an Uncle Ruckus and tap dance in order to make a point. I think you can make your point and still be there. And by the way, there have been plenty of people who have been conservative for a very, very long time and have been pushed that way because we understood that there was an agenda. See, having 30 years in the media, you will begin to understand how the game works. And once you do, and you realize that there is an agenda, you start to realize that, okay, if they're telling me that these people are bad, let me go investigate for myself. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to be an Uncle Ruckus. Didn't have to go, oh, you knuckles, and we need to get them out of here. And there's no need for that because that's not going to play well where people are doing actual business. And also, you're not going to win anybody to your side being disrespectful and campaigning to get your jaw rocked. You can make things happen without being that way. And as a person who believes in Christ and believes in America, I don't ever have anybody have an issue going to Chinatown to get some dim sum, but I don't say to those Chinese people, oh, well, y'all are Americans. They know they're Americans, but they also have their culture, and there's nothing wrong with that. The other part of that is you're either a part of the culture or you're not part of the culture. You can't say, we need to get ourselves together, we need to do this, and then say, oh, the blacks and the niggas. It's one or the other. You are neither hot nor warm, so you are neither hot nor cold, so you're lukewarm, so I spew you from my mouth. That's not me, that's God.
Now, that's a good point that you made, Business Bully. Chaotic, do you see what he's saying? How, either you're part of the culture or you're not, and if you're not, then I guess what are you saying? He can't speak to it?
No, it's not that he can't speak to it, but in one moment, go back and watch the tape. In one moment, he's talking about how the blacks are this and the blacks are that, and then in the next moment is we as Black people need to do this, and I want to do that, and then he says we want to make sure that we're all Black people, and I agree with people, we're all Americans, this, that, and the third, but then he says he wants us to be the superior race. I can't keep up. Which lie is it?
Yeah. CT?
Rico with the $2 super chat says, set it off, Chaotic. Thank you so much, Rico. Guys, get the likes up. Send over as much super chats as possible.
Politics. And this is what we do. We have an open forum of discussion. We always have done this. Mm-hmm. Some people are passionate. Some people are less, passionate about it. We're a free speech channel here. Yes. And we do try to just get everyone's voice in the conversation. And so we did a broadcast about foundational Black Americans and got a lot of slack for it a couple of weeks ago. So what I did, I researched it, and my friend here, Business Bully, identifies as FBA. And I want to get him on the show to say, okay, what did we get wrong? What did we get right? Educate us. I know Chaotic has a platform here where he spends most of his days talking to FBAs. And I had to get him on because I know he has a different perspective on it. And so this is what we do here, folks. This is what the channel is all about. You know, we don't want to, say, oh, well, I can't say this or I can't say that, or I don't want to get this person on, I don't want to get that person on. We like to have a conversation. This is what we're doing tonight. Go ahead, Chaotic.
You missed the super chat too. I wanted to get that super chat, and I wanted to address something real quick. There we go. Dog man with the $5 super chat. I'm proudly from PA, but I am not and never will be an Eagles fan. Shout out to you, dog man. Positivity's coming your way.
Pennsylvania is really big city. Big state.
Him with the $5 super chat. Tariq is a con man, pimping, emotional man. At this point, blacks are fighting each other. Agreed. KJ, have you? Oh, Plumpy. Damn, you guys are coming through with the super chats. Plumpy says, much love, chaotic. God bless. Go Team Trump. We are back, baby.
Yeah, Team Trump, the golden age.
Rico with the $2 super. I already read that one. KJ, do you know what an innocent is?
Gotta hit Mark. Mark,
always have my ladies back. Look at you, Mark.
Oh,
thank you, Mark.
KJ, do you know what an innocent is? An innocent vehicle? You know what an innocent is?
Innocent vehicle? No.
Innocent. INNOSON. Mark Garrett. Okay. You never heard of it, right?
No.
The innocent is a vehicle made by Nigeria. 60% of the resources that go into making it are actually in Nigeria. Now, obviously, they get other parts imported in from other places, but 60% is made by a Nigerian company. Black people. Now they're not foundational Black Americans, right? Now, one day I called into Tariq, and Tariq doesn't know me at all. But this is what these FBAs do. They call you tethers when you don't agree with the doctor. So he started calling me a tether. You know, he said, you're a musty tether. and so I said, you know, Tariq, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pocket watching. He said, that's what all you tethers do. So I was like, I was pocket watching. I saw you driving that $500,000 white supremacist vehicle. You know, he has a Bentley. And for people who don't know, Bentley is made by the British. Now, the British, at one point, they said it. The sun never set on the British Empire. That's what was known. They had colonies all over the planet. That's white supremacy. This Negro, he lying, got these other blacks believing in this lie. He driving the white supremacist vehicle. So I said, hey, Tariq, why don't you drive like an innocent? He said, what's an innocent? And I said, and Gimpy was there. I said, an innocent is it's a black man's vehicle. That's the black man's car. He said, where is it from? I said, Nigeria. He said, oh, that ain't black. That's Nigerian. Those are tethers. I was like, so let me get this straight. And I can send you over the recording. I was like, let me get this straight. You would rather drive the vehicle made and produced in a nation that literally had black colonies up until the late 60s. Literally, we got Tremaine with the $5 super chat. Black people were the most successful when we practiced group economics. Look at us now that we don't. I agree with that too, Tremaine. Yeah. I'm a strong believer in segregation, to be honest with you. Now,
huge facts.
Here goes a black man, supposedly. He preaching about white supremacy and oppression. And I said, how come you ain't driving no innocent? He said, oh, I'm not driving that musty car. That's a musty vehicle. KJ, a lot of these people, man, they're full of it. And one of the reasons why they get mad at me, like a Tariq, is because I call people out on the BS. I said, all the money you got, you can import that. I think you could drive. I think it's roadworthy here. I think you can import that car here. But why won't he do it, KJ? Why won't he do it? Why won't he? Do you want to? I mean, you don't have to answer me, you know. But why won't he? Why won't he import the black man's vehicle and drive the black man's car? That's the black man's car. It's
the same reason why we have people like Jamal Bryant and these pastors who drive these multi-million-dollar vehicles, and the congregation is living in poverty. Mm-hmm. It's a status, and I hate to say it again, it sounds to me like a grift.
And so the young lady in the chat that sent you that Cash App, now she's a woman of a certain age. I'm not going to go in on her. But beloved, here I go. I am the voice, and I believe I'm the best representative of the foundational Black American. Tremaine with the $5 super chat. I already read that one. I believe I'm the voice of the FBAs. Now here she goes. She attacking me. But she ain't attacking Tariq. She ain't attacking Brother Polite. She ain't brother. Remember Brother Polite? That Negro doing 8 years in the penitentiary now. And I called it. I said, that nigga, that gangbanger, that ain't he don't care about no black people. And what was he doing when he got that money? KJ, he was at the white supremacist NBA. That's the black man didn't create the NBA. He's sitting courtside at the Lakers game. That's $15,000, $20,000 seats. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You do what you want to do with your money. But you got to call these blacks out. How come you ain't invested in it? Why don't we get our own NBA league?
Well, you know, Ice Cube did it. Ice Cube
he did it. Yeah, but the big three, I'll get. Yeah, but he was low key begging the NBA to subsidize him. So
not true.
So the thing of the matter is, KJ, is that I'm like an auditor. And I think that's what a lot of these blacks don't like. See, I even audit myself.
We gotta wrap it up. We gotta wrap.
I'm still waiting for him to address which lie is it, because he's been talking out of both sides of his neck this entire time.
And
Tariq ain't here. I am. I'm still waiting for him to address what I've said.
You said about how he's talking about he's black on one side but criticizing
the culture and then criticizing the culture,
right?
Because that's what an auditor does. That's what the Negro Whisperer does. KJ, you know this about me. I'm the Negro Whisperer. I am super perfect at this, and y'all know this. I mean, why are we playing here? Why is everybody in the chat playing like they don't know me and they don't know how good I am at this? And one of these blacks, ask him, KJ, before we go. You mad at me, but I bet if you call in, I bet you get on camera. You're living in the white man's neighborhood. You got the white man's car. You're wearing the white man's clothes. You got the white man signs your paycheck. Man, these blacks really don't. These blacks, man, we talk a good game, but we ain't really about that life.
I'm just curious, Chaotic. How many black people do you employ, bro?
Life.
How many black people do you employ?
CT?
Well, I did have a property preservation business years ago.
No. It's a number. It just requires a number. How many?
None right now.
0. Okay, I employ 300. So some of us are actually taking care of our community by putting our money where our mouths are. You know, a quick Google search will prove me right. So at the end of the day, when you go painting people with a broad brush, because I don't know who bothered you or who hurt you or who made fun of you. I don't get it. But bro, like all this talk, it's got so much vitriol in it. That's why your DMs are probably filled with threats. You can disagree without being disrespectful. And by the way, there's nothing wrong. If we love America, we should be able to buy whatever we like to buy. Did you buy an Indigent or an Indigent?
KJ,
did you buy
one? You mind if I answer your question?
I'm waiting.
We have to finish after this.
I like white culture. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm open about that. I like living around white people. White people don't bother me. But KJ, I want you to notice something. I haven't once addressed this man. That's another thing about foundational Black Americans. They can't see past themselves. I've not once addressed him.
Because you'd rather talk about Tariq, who isn't here.
No, hold on for a second. KJ, I haven't talked to him. Don't you see the beauty of this, KJ? I have not once even addressed any of his arguments. I'm talking about black.
Because you can't.
No, sir. Sir.
You can call me Dave. Sir. The only people call me sir are the people whose checks I sign.
Okay, Dave. I have not. Sir, Dave, you are entitled to your opinion.
So
I have
You're just not entitled to your own facts.
KJ, I have not addressed him at all. I'm not even talking to him. I'm talking. You notice that, KJ? I don't address people's arguments. You can believe what you want. If you believe there's a dinosaur outside, hey, it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex outside. Oh, okay, that's what's up, man. I'm not arguing with this guy. If what I'm saying is so KJ, can I ask you a question real quick?
We have to wrap up this segment.
We gotta next console. I'm going to talk about installing a wrap it up button like they do at the award shows.
KJ, KJ, see now, hold on. Now, KJ, in the 90s, because we are all about the same age. Let me ask you a question. Did you? We all saw some crackheads in the neighborhoods. Did you pay attention to some crackheads? Why would you pay attention to somebody who's crazy?
Oh, so now we're passively aggressively calling people crackheads.
No, I'm talking about myself.
Oh, so you are a crackhead.
KJ, can I speak, please? Why?
No, we have to.
If I'm talking crazy, why would people listen to me?
Because you're talking absolute
Okay, all right,
nonsense
all
and
right. I'm
yelling
sorry,
and
KJ. I'm
screaming. And
sorry.
the
I'm
reason
sorry.
you
I'm
won't
sorry.
address
Sorry.
anybody is because you can't deal
Oh,
with the actual facts that are on the table. So you would rather deal
Give me
in
the
these
black-owned
extremes.
steel company, sir. Give me the steel company that niggas own. Give it to me.
I don't know
Like
about niggas
real
on steel
industry, not no
companies,
rap.
but at the end of the day, address
Semiconductor.
what I've
Come on.
actually said.
Semiconductor.
I've
You ain't
already
gonna argue
given you a
over
bunch of things
semiconductors.
that you
all
have
right.
not
We're gonna
addressed.
finish this another time.
Screaming,
Company.
dancing, and tapping.
You
Can we get
niggas
somebody
make
up here of some
it
reasonable intelligence and
We
decorum who
have
can
Give
stop
me the
screaming?
automobile company.
We're gonna have to finish this another time. We're at the end of
Yeah,
our
we gotta
time for
go,
this
man.
segment.
This is absolutely insane.
Sorry.
But
I'm trying
again,
to move on. But
yeah,
thanks.
thank
Thanks for
you
coming.
both. Thank you both for coming on. You know, again, I still one thing I do want to say is I understand that what you were saying, Dave, about how Tariq is you're not Tariq and he's not here. I get
Correct.
that. But he is the face of the movement. That's just like saying, oh, well, I'm MAGA, but I don't believe in Trump or I don't agree with Trump. Well, Trump is the face of the MAGA movement, the same as Tariq is the face of FBA. So it's kind of difficult to disregard what he says when he's the loudest voice and and many followers believe he is, you know, the head of it. So that's kind of one of the
I can see that, and I see exactly where you're coming from, KJ. But here's the truth: there are plenty of people who are Republicans who can't stand Donald Trump, but yet and still they fell in lockstep. I have had plenty of disagreements with Tariq Nasheed. I don't agree with everything you say.
right,
You don't agree with everything that I say.
right.
So you can stand here as a conservative and disagree with other conservatives. It happens. I can stand here as a black man and disagree with my leaders. People disagree with some of the things that Donald Trump does, and
Absolutely.
again, he's not here. You called me. If you wanted Tariq, I could have gave you his number. But if I'm here, no, my point is, if I'm here, sister, and you're asking me because you didn't play Tariq's clip on the show you guys got cooked on, you played mine. And then, because you did not understand the full context of what happened, people in the comments started to cook you. Some of it was a little bit too extreme, but some of it was just because you had a little bit of unintended ignorance. And that's the thing. You can disagree with somebody and still identify. You're black like I'm black. If you get pulled over by an officer, if you get stopped and somebody says, black female doing this, that, and the third, calling for backup, they're identifying you. And that's coming from the son of a cop. That doesn't mean that you're being racially profiled. It means it's an identifier. I'm talking about the identifier. I'm not talking about the movement. I'm talking about a lineage. I'm not here for a movement. I'm here for differentiation as far as lineage goes. And that's it, because every part of the American tapestry is important, and FBAs are a very big thread, just like Italian Americans are, just like Irish Americans every middle of March, just like Puerto Ricans when they have the Puerto Rican Day Parade. We're all a part of America. So yeah, I can say that there are certain things I agree with Tariq on, there's certain things I don't agree with Tariq on. Period, point blank.
All right. Nicole, I want to give you the final word response to that.
We've got work to do.
Mhm.
We've got work to do in our community. And I think, dialogue is important. Respect is also important in dialogue so that you can understand where the other person is coming from, right? I think there's a lot more to be known about the FBA lineage, the FBA movement, how Tariq plays into it, how Dave plays into it. I understand what Dave is saying, as someone who's been conservative for a very long time. I'm definitely conservative, but there are some conservatives that, I don't buy into everything that they have to say. So I think in this space, what we can say is our community has to grow up, and there are a lot of people pushing for us to grow up. Hopefully we can find some common ground and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on. Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate you. We got to have you back on for to go in little deeper into this conversation.
Sorry for ruining your Black Panther Party, KJ. Have a good
That's
one.
right. No,
Party. Will you go tap dance someplace, bro? Can you go shine your master's shoes? Just the bucking and the shucking. Boy, I bet when you sit down with your parents, we are so proud of the job you have done. You are such a good Negro. The hell is wrong with you, bro?
Have a good one, guys.
Peace
all
and
right.
bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much. Next time. All right. We went a little over time with that.
Girl, Lord have mercy.
Yes, we did. I do want to get into just a couple of our topics for tonight. I want to talk about President Trump. So, You guys know we are full MAGA here, conservatives. And so I want to talk about the weekend, or actually yesterday. Trump pretty much went in on these Democrats in California. All right, take a look here. This is clip one.
6 months is no
Exactly.
good.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know, we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can. But we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost
and
a
they
lot.
can.
You
and
should
they are
let them
able
do
to-
it, because
No,
by the
they
time you
can do
hire
that.
contractors, it's
Right.
going to be 2 years.
If a
The
family
people are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
and they can
There's
do
not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, you know, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours. And that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract
If
that's going to
individuals
charge him
want to build-
$25,000 to do his lot. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because I looked,
signed
I
an
mean, you have a
emergency
very powerful
declaration.
emergency power, and you
Yes.
can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work, and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most
a
important
week
thing
is
is
a
for
long
people to
time.
be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing. And I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them. Everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Last night.
And that was last night.
On that. Right.
It was the first time. Mr. President.
Okay. So that was Trump in California yesterday in a sweep to survey the damage of natural disasters. He also went to North Carolina to survey what had gone on under Joe Biden's watch. During that roundtable meeting between the president and local California leaders, he cooked them live. I mean, and you see how they lie. You see how she's trying to be a politician and she's just lying. Nicole, what are your thoughts there in that exchange?
First of all, she deserved every moment of that smoke, every single moment. Because if you listen to the people in the background shouting questions at her, these are homeowners. And, you know, I can go clean up my lot now, because the last thing you want to do, the very last thing you want to do is listen to some psycho babble from some woman's house that hasn't been touched by a lick of smoke when you're trying to get your life back together. And she's talking about, oh, maybe next week. But she's smiling at Trump saying, oh, well, they can clean it up. They can't clean it up if you have to wait and wait and wait. And we all know California, at the snail's pace that they move for any kind of building, it is going to take forever for these people to get their property back together. And kudos to Trump for holding her feet to the fire and calling her out. Absolutely.
Yes. And this is what we're talking about. The idea of waiting for someone to do something for you and then taking not responsibility, but just kind of responsibility to do it yourself. This is the conservative spirit.
It's the same thing that, like in North Carolina, when you have Amish building mini houses for them. I know a group of builders from Maryland who took days off of work, who went down there to shore up the houses that could be shored up. You know, that's what America is all about. Neighbor helping neighbor. Government should not stand in the way of that. and she's talking about, well, people need to be safe. Where was that call for safety when you were in Ghana, eating curry chickpeas and your whole city was burning? Where was that thought? She's not serious. She's not a serious person, and Trump did not take her seriously. Thank God for him.
And she doesn't have common sense. And this is Trump saying that now. This is clip 2.
Relief items which will prevent it or at least mitigate it from happening again. So you're going to see us proposing both of those.
Like water. Little things like water. The party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're not, in all fairness.
Yes, sir.
We like water to put out fires. It's really quite efficient.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's what he said. He reminded me of, how if you have like some type of situation or just some bad situation you're in, and you bring your dad along to just to be there, and he sees that this isn't going right, and he steps in and starts saying, wait a minute, no, we need this and this to take care. Daddy is home.
Absolutely. He steps in with some plain common sense logic. Listen, don't talk to me about all this pie in the sky. What you need, my friend, for fire is water, right? Simple. And the dumb thing about it was the look on all of their faces were like, well, wait a minute, he may have a point. We might want to get us some of this water. What is wrong with you people? Having roundtable meetings while people are struggling to put their lives back together, where you're acting like you don't quite understand that water puts out fires, says a lot about the people that these Californians have elected to lead them. I am so looking forward to their next cycle of elections to see what those politicians are going to look like after this tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope and pray that they understand these people need to go. They need to get rid of it, because it's not just them. Sometimes we have these elections. It happened in Baltimore, actually, and in Chicago, where people, instead of them voting for a totally different party, they continue to vote for the same party. And all they've done is just exchange the person that was there.
Well,
so in Chicago, you had Lori Lightfoot.
Mm-hmm.
She believes the same thing that the current mayor there, Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same thing, but just different people. That's not going to fix it.
Well, because they think it's not necessarily their policy. You see it larger on a national scale as people is fleeing from California, moving to Texas and other red states, and they get there and they vote the same way they voted in California for the same debauchery that they voted for in California. And then they turn around and go, this place is just like California. Well, listen, it takes a while to separate. The error is not mine. It belongs to this other person. And, people are really good at putting the blame on other people. Like Californians are saying, well, it really isn't our fault about the water thing, because we did have to protect that fish. And, there's these indigenous plants that we wanted to protect. They don't hear themselves. But I think this fire and losing everything may just be the bell that gets their attention. If it doesn't, nothing will.
Yeah, nothing will. Like you said, it is certainly a mindset change. And this is what I'm talking about when I think of like the reparations and government checks and stimulus and things like that. I guess when you think about it on the surface, you may say, oh, these are good things. This money is coming to us, and things like that. It's a debt owed. But the principle and policy behind it is trash. We don't want government assistance. You don't want it. One, if you get hooked on it, then you're going to have to continue to get it. And then they get to tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. We don't want that. We want to be self-sufficient.
I say this all the time. We have to grow up. We cannot act like babies and then cry when people treat us like babies. We cannot. We can no longer afford to be babies in this nation. It is time to grow up. Was the American slavery horrific? Absolutely. No one's debating that. Were there promises made to a particular generation that weren't kept? Absolutely. But listen, pick a nation, any nation on the globe. oh, I hate to say it, shit happens. And I don't mean to diminish anyone's human suffering. Slavery impacted my family just like every other Black American family here. The problem that some people have is instead of using that negativity and standing on it to build something better, they're allowing that victimhood to be everything that they are. And instead of leading with truth and righteousness, they're going, well, we can have a little truth and righteousness, but I need you to pay me for something I didn't do. And what happens then to the people who have to pay the money for reparations? 20 years later, do their kids turn around and say, well, my family paid your family reparations. Now you have to pay me back. Where does this stuff end? Why can't we push forward? Why can't we just push forward? And fighting about it just makes it even harder because advancing the needle does not require each other calling names. It does not. It's counterproductive. Absolutely counterproductive.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And here he is again, Trump, talking about how we need less bureaucracy. This is clip 3.
Mr. President, if I can just defend FEMA a little bit.
Yeah.
They brought thousands of people in. I don't know how they're doing in other states. They're doing a good job for us here. They've got a huge center that's open from 9 in the morning till 8 at night. But also, when you have a disaster this size, you need to be able to deploy thousands of people, which they've been able to do. Now, California, if we did it on our own, maybe we'd have thousands of people.
You do.
But if Rhode Island has a Palisades disaster, are they then supposed to keep
How many people do you have in California? 36? How many million? How many million people do you have?
But
you have 40 million people. You're not going to get a few thousand people. The problem with FEMA is they come from all over the country. They end up in arguments with your people from California because they want to do it a totally different way. And I can live either way, but you haven't gotten very much done with FEMA and all you have to do is look at North Carolina. It's one of the great disasters of all time.
And Mr. President, you can't have Rhode Island maintain a staff of thousands and thousands of people waiting to see if they have a disaster.
Do you know who came in and fixed North Carolina or the process? Other states, people from all over the country came. And you have the same thing. You have a lot of people from all over the country. Getting the people is not a problem. Getting the organization is a big problem. FEMA's incompetently run, and it costs about 3 times more than it should cost.
I'm hoping
we
that
can
you
spend
can
money on
run.
schools instead of giving money to bureaucracy. It takes you so much longer.
Mr. President,
It takes you so much longer
for helping our people.
FEMA has a standard, Brad, and I'm a builder. I was a very good builder. FEMA has a standard that's so slow. They want permit on permit on permit, and then they want permits on top of that. If you use FEMA, you'll be here for a long time. What I'm saying is get the city, get the state to give you immediate 24-hour permits. These people.
Trump said, stop talking about FEMA and let's get this stuff done. I loved it. I loved it. When was the last time we saw Biden do a press conference like this? I don't think we ever saw him do anything like that.
Never. He doesn't have that capacity. But let me tell you, these career bureaucrats are going to get enough of coming for Trump. They're going to walk over and limp back. He's not here to play with them. And I love all of the energy that he's saying. Do you know who you are? We know who FEMA is. We're still waiting for you to get it together from Katrina, let alone some of the more current things that have happened. I truly, truly wish that other department heads of these agencies are watching this saying, I might need to get myself together. I may not actually need to work on my mission. That is the goal. But Trump is not here to play with them. I swear, FEMA has done a horrible job. Full stop. And I don't think any American would disagree with that. North Carolina still looks like a terror zone. California is allegedly going to have an Olympics, but where? It can't be in Los Angeles. Where are they going to put it? Because their own mayor is saying, well, she's going to wait a couple of weeks before she allows you to even clean up your own property. What about the public spaces? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I agree. We have Mark Slater with the $5 super chat. All right. He says, y'all should have let those guys fight in the parking lot. I know. And they say women are the emotional ones, right? We're not.
Right? Listen, that was a lot. And you know, the crazy thing about it is I think both men made some valid points, but it was hard to kind of catch in because there was so much vitriol. I mean, like, you know, it's like watching two people who are already having a fight and you walk into the middle of the conversation like, oh,
Right.
I don't necessarily belong in this space.
Right. But as far as Trump is concerned, I think one of the major differences here, he's talking, as you mentioned, Nicole, to lifelong career bureaucrats. They've been in government most of their lives. They've never worked in private industry. They've never created anything. You know, business owners, they have to deal with a lot of different things. They create things. Trump is dealing with bureaucrats, and he's sitting here telling them, look, I've run Fortune 500s, multiple businesses. I was a builder. You all can't tell me anything. You're trying to lead us. You're trying to give us a bunch of crap. I know that what can be done, and I know how long it takes. And that's what he did there.
I think that's a beautiful thing when you have a leader who has expert opinions because he's done it, and not only done it, but done it successfully several times. You can't sell him this thing that it's going to take, you know, 7 days or a little bit more to allow these people back on the property. There's no reason why they can't go on the property now. They own the property. They should not be, and it's not like they're looting anything from these houses that are completely burned to the ground. They just want to clean up their lot so they can get their lives back, so their children can go back to some semblance of normalcy, if ever, right? But having your own elected officials tell you, no, I don't think I'll let you back on your property to clean up after your fire. Can you imagine?
No, you can't imagine. And that's why so many people were agreeing with the way Trump handled that conversation and the discussion. And even so much so, the ladies of The View got into it, talking about it. They were arguing back and forth. This is clip 7 of them talking about Trump taking control of in his voice. And who is the leader now of the Democrat Party? Clip 7.
But oh my goodness, that's why Democrats lost. No one talks like that. No one in the Union Hall talks about the corporate oligarchs and the tech industrial complex. You need to talk like a real human being. And for all the
Who do you
criticisms,
think is that person? Who do you give me an idea?
Real quick,
I
for
can
all the
weigh in.
criticisms I have of Donald Trump, he speaks like real people speak. They're taking advantage of you. They're ripping you off.
Yeah,
They're
that's
not
right.
using that kind of language.
He speaks like an annoying person.
I think we do have a leader. I think that leader is Minority Leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries. So there is no question that there is a leader. He's from Brooklyn. He speaks with his New York Brooklyn accent. I went to college with him. I know him extremely well, and he talks real talk. And I have a completely different take. On this, I think the Democrats are actually falling in line. As a
Okay, so
First of all, it was 12 Democrats who voted for the Lake and Riley Act. Let's be clear, and to be very, very clear, Hakeem Jeffries does talk a lot of shit, and it's probably the shit that Sonny likes, but it's nothing that anyone else likes. Our former governor here in Maryland, Mr. Rain Tax himself, Martin O'Malley, is running to be DNC chair, and if that doesn't frighten Democrats across the nation, nothing will. This man has not met a tax he's not willing to levy. He actually taxed the rain.
Yeah.
In Maryland. The rain, it comes out of the sky for free. Not here in Maryland, you need to pay for that. I told him, turn mine off. I got my own water, fam. I don't.
Yeah.
Keep the rain. I'm good over here, family. I'm not doing this with you. This is the reason why in deep blue Maryland, where Republicans are outnumbered almost 10-1, he got creamed by Larry Hogan. Creamed by Larry Hogan. This is definitely something that, as they scramble around and try to look for leadership, they don't really have any moderate people. They don't really have someone that's kind of in the middle that can walk that line. Hakeem Jeffries is just as liberal as Sonny Hostin is.
Right.
Just as liberal as she is.
We have a super chat here from Gimpy who says Hakeem Jeffries is Timu Obama. So Obama. Yeah, he is.
The Sheen version.
And just in that discussion proves our point. So you have here, first you have Sonny saying Hakeem Jeffries talks just like the rest of us because he has an accent, which that doesn't mean anything. No, they're talking about the phrasing and the vocabulary and things that he uses, and point proven. Joy couldn't understand what she was saying because she kept saying undocumented migrant or undocumented immigrant. It's illegal. But this is what we're talking about. Nobody's saying undocumented migrants except for these leftists. We know they are illegal. And just like DeSantis said in a presser last week, the actual verbiage in our laws is illegal immigrant or
it's illegal alien. Trump made that very clear. You know, all the way up to, I'll probably say 2010, they were illegal aliens.
Illegal aliens, right. And Trump just made it back. He brought it back to that.
Absolutely. Because listen, one thing we're not going to do is tap dance around the issues that we're having with people coming here and committing egregious crime. I'm not talking about stealing a loaf of bread. I'm talking raping, pillaging, setting women on fire on a subway train. That kind of thing is unconscionable to the American public. And the one thing that Sonny did get right, Democrats have got to find a way to wrap their head around that America won't tolerate that. Right. Now, they've quite not done it. They're not quite there yet. They're really not, because only 12 Democrats voted for the Lake and Rowley Act.
And you read what she said. She said that they voted, but they didn't really like it. They didn't really want it. So what does that say? They're phony. They're liars. Why would Americans want to support that? You don't believe in it, but you voted for it because you want to win an election. It's just phony.
And listen, in 18 months, if she thinks the Dems are going to take over the House, I've got news for her. The way they're doubling down on dumb, they may never see leadership again, probably for the next 10, 15 years. It's going to take a lot for them to kind of separate themselves from the far fringes of their party. We used to have what we called blue dog Democrats, right? These are people who are maybe born into a Democrat family, sometimes vote Democrat, but mostly votes Republican, traditionalist people, centrist, if you will. They don't exist anymore.
No, they don't. We have a couple super chats here, folks. Thank you all so much. Please keep those super chats coming. We love to hear what you guys are saying in the chat. Rico says, amen, Puddin'. Yes, indeed. All right. Who else do we have here? Tremaine says, you talking too much, bro. Oh, talking about the guys. Okay.
Well, that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. All right. Thank you, folks, so much. We certainly appreciate you all. What do you think? I mean, I would love to hear you guys sound off. Who do you think is the leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think they're going to win in 2 years? I would love to get you guys' response to that. Speaking of, I'll tell you someone who's tired of them, Stephen A. Smith. Mm-hmm. So he was recently on Real Time with Bill Maher, and he delivered a candid critique of the Democrat Party. It was very unexpected. Everybody was like, what? Because he is, he said he didn't vote for Trump. He's a registered independent, but he supported Kamala Harris in the last election. But it looks like he's being red-pilled. This is clip 4. Take a look.
I think it's important that you understand. See, you're a likable individual because you're sensible. I know Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, likable man. I think he has incredible potential, resonates with people because he sends a message to them not just that he cares about them, but that he's listening to them, as opposed to trying to guilt them with fear mongering and everything else to get them to do what you as a politician want them to do. You have to understand, respectfully, in my opinion, that you are in the minority within the Democratic Party based on what we've seen over the last, 4 to 6 years. It's entirely different now because, like Bill said, it's not enough for you to vote for them. You got to side with them. The same people that you voted for, they made you feel, they got to a point where if you uttered the wrong pronoun, they was ready to cost you your career. I'm working in television and I'm having people who are hyperventilating, scared to death, taking deep breaths, making sure that when they go on a diatribe or a rant or whatever, they're uttering every syllable correctly. This is the kind of world the Republicans didn't create that. They're guilty of a whole lot of stuff, but they didn't create that. And when you create that where somebody is scared to utter the wrong word out of their mouth, and we all know what some words are taboo, but damn, it got to a point where he or she was taboo amongst some Democrats. Now, how the hell that happened?
He's got a point. The very far right took over their party. It was probably fairly evident when Bernie Sanders was the most centrist person in the party. Right. For a long, long time, Bernie Sanders was like the weird, uncle that smells like cheese of the Democrat Party. And when he became, the focal point of the party, they were in trouble. They were absolutely in trouble. The one thing I will say, and I'm going to have to pull Stephen A's coattails about Wes Moore.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
$987 million in new taxes and fees here in the state of Maryland. He's not even served a full term in office yet.
Wow.
If you talk about Martin O'Malley 2.0, he's that guy.
But this is what all they like is what they see and how they speak. And,
people say that he's a great guy to go get a drink with. What I'm saying is you're not going to be able to afford a drink. Getting an Amazon package sent to your house here in Maryland is going to cost you 75 cents. 75 cents per package. So what I'm telling Amazon is squeeze all my stuff in one box and put it in a locker down the road. I'm going to go pick it up myself because I refuse to pay more taxes. So he just has more money to spend. It's not like we don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. We have a huge spending problem. If we could just get one legislative session where they don't raise or levy one tax, where they don't assess us anything new, it would give us a chance to catch our breath. Maryland's one of the highest tax states in this nation, and we have nothing to show for it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Please, folks, if you don't do anything, please share this broadcast because I have a funny feeling. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is a bellwether.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people think and are pushing our current governor, Wes Moore, to be the next president. He's, they're pushing him along that line, they're grooming him to take the mantle within the Democrat Party. And, I'm scared a lot of people are going to fall for it because he's very charismatic. He's got the military background. He's, a very nice looking man. He can talk the talk. And if you don't really understand what's going on, like we do here in Maryland, we are going to be in a terrible, terrible way.
Listen, they did the same thing with Martin O'Malley after he was, governor of Maryland. Thank God we're term limited here. He went on to run for president and was resoundingly walloped. I mean, he got skunked, absolutely skunked, because taxing the rain is a bad idea in every single state.
Yeah, but
Maryland. But here, we have 6.6 million, give or take, people here. $987 million worth of new taxes and fees. Who do you think that money is going to come from?
Us. But
absolutely.
He's
administrative fees on everything. He says, oh, no, I'm only going to tax the rich. Understanding that he used to run the Robin Hood Foundation. Look that up, right? So the thing with him is he says, well, if you can't afford to pay the $375 to renew the registration on your vehicle, it's $375 for 2 years, then you can make payments on it. But the payments come with an administrative fee for people who can't afford it. you're just piling debt on top of debt. So don't tell me how great of a guy he is. Don't tell me like, you'd love to invite him to a cookout. This is the same man who would absolutely see you destitute on the street and drive right by you. And that's not me being hyperbolic. He does it every single time he comes to Baltimore City.
But Nicole, he's black.
Well,
he's a black man in the Democrat Party, and they love to sell skin. They love to sell race. And believe me, he, even though Kamala didn't make it, but she was an idiot. She was an idiot. She couldn't speak. She couldn't even read the prompter. She couldn't even read and do what they told her to do. Mm-hmm. Wes Moore can. And he's going to be someone to really, I hope people do not fall for him. I really do.
Well, I hope by then the nation has grown up. You know, I'm saying I really do. I wish that we look beyond skin color. Absolutely. That would be really, really great. I mean, that was one of the big things about Gail's comment on Martin Luther King Day / Inauguration Day, how many black people she didn't see. What happened to the content of our character? Right. What happened to that? On a day that we've chosen to celebrate this man, she was just really disgusting. And I hope as a nation, we get past skin color and look at the merit and the content of people's character. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. We have some super chats here. So let's see here. We have, all right. Taurus Prince says, can me and Nicole just go elope? Nicole, you have a crush. All right, Rico, right, says, come on to Texas. We'd love to have you. All right, Rico.
I love Texas. Texas is a great state.
Yes, indeed. All right, we have Taurus says, I hope Trump and his team pay their lawyers just to watch The View, CNN, MSNBC, Roland Martin, etc. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Taurus. Yeah. So speaking of mayors here, governors from Maryland, our former governor, Nicole was just speaking of him, Governor Martin O'Malley. He was actually mayor of Baltimore first. Got ripped by Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Yes, we have the clip here for you. Let me see here. Yeah, so this was, he was at some congressional hearing. And do you know what the congressional? It was an oversight committee.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. And this is Nancy Mace reading him to filth. This is clip 5.
It was so.
I think you are the perfect candidate to chair the Democrat Party. Your liberal record is truly astonishing.
Thank you.
At an event in 2005, you compared a federal budget request which cut spending to the terrorist attacks of 9/11. You raised taxes, tolls, and fees on your constituents 83 times as governor of Maryland, including increasing sales taxes, income taxes, the gas tax. You also created an array of new taxes on services for your constituents.
And the number one public
I'm talking, I'm going to
America.
reclaim my time. I'm talking right now. I've not asked you a question yet, have I? No, I have not.
No, you haven't.
For your constituents, making your constituents, the people you served in Maryland, pay more. You love some law-breaking illegal aliens as well. You've advocated for mass amnesty for illegal aliens. My favorite part of your love for criminals in this country is you don't refer to them as illegal aliens, but instead you refer to them as
new Americans.
New Americans, right. Nicole, did she lie? Did she lie?
Nancy Mace, she laid him out. She channeled her inner Nicole Bennett and let it all ride. I have had enough of Martin O'Malley to last me a lifetime. You know, once he was walloped as he ran for president, he ended up in the Biden administration as the Social Security Administrator, which is, trouble enough. However, he's making a play to come back. Being DNC chair is a powerful position. It's an incredibly powerful position. And there are going to be a lot of people jockeying for that kind of thing. But I'm going to tell you what, Nancy left no crumbs. She tore his butt up, cooked his butt, ate his lunch, did all that. She left no crumbs, and I'm here for all of it. But she left out the rain tax. I should have sent her a text message. Wallop him with that rain tax.
Yeah, folks. We're in trouble if Wes Moore or even Martin O'Malley get into some type of office where they have reign over the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
Or we don't have anything left.
Yeah. Let me tell you, he made Marylanders so mad with that rain tax. Lifelong Democrats were like, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. But this is what happens. They feel emboldened if we don't stop them. When they first start, kind of levying $987 million worth of new taxes, right? When they start doing that, people have got to stand up. And it just can't be a minority of people. Every person in this state is going to bear the brunt. Every single person. People who are indigent and barely making it, and people who have a bunch of money will pack their stuff and move to Virginia. Virginia has inherited a lot of millionaires from Maryland lately, and it's going to keep going. So what happens when all the money leaves town?
And we're in a very bad situation. Before I continue, I want to acknowledge our super chatter here. At last, Satisfied Patriot with the $20 super chat says, the last time I was on you ladies' podcast, my username was Fed Up Patriot. We've come a long way. Yes, we have. Yes, thank you so much. Rico says, hold on now. Oh, Taurus Prince. Nicole Puddin is taken. I was waiting for that.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Nicole. All right.
A whole mess.
Yes, indeed. All right. Yeah, this, I forgot what I was going to say after that. We were talking about Nancy Mace. Right. So, they used to call O'Malley here, they used to say, Femally. I think it was something like that. They used to call him here. It was so many fees and taxes that he put on us. It was ridiculous. Folks, we have to wake up and start actually looking into the policies that these Democrats, and not even just Democrats, all of them put forward, and really look into how they're going to affect our lives, our families, our communities. Because, that's what I was going to say. We are now in a deficit. We have a deficit here in our budget in Maryland. The last governor, who's Republican, Hogan, left a surplus. Now we're in deficit. And to top all that, we have Trump, which I agree with, is trying to break up this federal government. And we did have a lot of federal workers in our area. So if they move away, if they actually break up this government and the federal workers here move away, that's going to be more revenue gone.
It's going to be difficult, but this is where leadership comes in. It's to be the king of a blue state with a blue legislature, a supermajority, is generally not that hard. But in comes Donald Trump, and he says federal workers actually have to earn their money, and we're not going to pay you locality pay if you live down the street from where you work at. And we're going to break up some of these agencies and move them to places where they belong. USDA should not be in Southeast DC. USDA should be somewhere where we grow food, right? Things that make good sense. So we're going to do some things that are going to impact the state of Maryland, impact the state of Virginia, and DC. So what do these leaders have to do to make sure that their constituents still get all of the benefits of government with far less revenue? Now, that's a conundrum, especially if you have a governor like we do who spends money like a small child with somebody's credit card at a Walmart. This man hasn't met a dollar he's not willing to spend. So we have a problem, not with taxing, but with spending. And now that there's going to be a smaller tax base, what do? This is where leadership comes in. Let's see you work yourself out of this. I'm looking.
Well, the one thing I could think they're going to do is increase taxes on the little bit of us that are left.
You can only raise taxes so much on people who don't have the money. What happens when the money leaves? When the money runs to Virginia? Oh, by the way, Virginia's okay with losing some federal workers. Right. I hate to say it, but their Republican governor has them situated in a great space. So now we hear Wes Moore talking about government efficiency. Government efficiency. So if he can't find this money somewhere, he's going to start laying off federal workers, right? State workers. Then what? Less tax revenue. So we can't kind of slide it under the rug. This is something that has to be faced head on, and it's going to require conversations with everybody in this state about who's going to do what to help us get through it. Does he have the capacity to do it? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what they're going to do.
Well, we will certainly see. We love efficiency. Speaking of that, I think it was Laura who mentioned about she says, "Oh snap, pudding." Yeah, I know. I was waiting for him to comment. But no, Laura also mentioned about Doge. So there have been rumors going around that there's some type of shakeup within Doge. So we know that Vivek, I guess, left, and he's going to be running for governor of Ohio. But then also, they've been recent news reports that Doge has been moved out of the White House. Apparently, it was going to be in the White House, or the headquarters. They're out of the White House. So, is it still going to have the same influence that we thought they campaigned on?
Oh, for sure. So Vivek leaving, there's a lot going on. So Vivek leaving to run for governor of Ohio is not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Especially for the people of Ohio, they could use someone who knows how to make some industry happen, right? One of the big things, though, with Doge is because it's not technically a federal agency, more of a consulting kind of thing for the president. Having it in the White House, may run afoul of some rules that they have going on. So having it outside of the White House is probably the best thing. People aren't going to like it. I'm going to tell you now, if you think people are hollering now about not getting preferences because you're, a certain color, a certain creed, transgender, whatever else, you've not seen nothing once people start losing jobs they haven't reported for in 4 years. It's going to be messy. So having a little bit of separation is probably a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. All right, folks. Well, that does it for us tonight. Long Saturday Night Live for us tonight, but we held it down. Folks, if you enjoyed tonight's conversation, hit that like button. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We will be back on Monday night at 8 p.m. right here. If you all want to support us, we have merch. I'm wearing one of our t-shirts now. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, "I don't need your DEI." So DEI is a big thing going around right now. I don't need it. And so this is what the shirt says. We have this actually in t-shirts, and we also have it in sweatshirts. So if you want to support us and you like it, definitely check it out. We have another super chat here. LAPD SWAT, what's up? The $5 super chat said, "Stranger things have happened. Watch, Kay. Bass getting promoted. Screw up, move up." Oh, okay. All right, Judy. We have another super chat here. Judy, the $5 super chat says, "Isn't it great that our president pardoned the right to life?" Yes, he did.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy you mentioned that, Judy. We posted about this early in the morning when they were let pardon. What was it, 25 pro-lifers pardoned, and one that we all, as a friend to the show, Bevelyn Beatty. Oh my God.
So wonderful. That moment with her and little Gaga, her little baby. Oh my gosh.
I cried.
Listen, I fell apart. I was just sitting there with the tissue like, oh my gosh.
It was so nice.
So heartwarming to see that. It was so heartwarming. I'm so glad she's home. I'm so glad she has her baby back in her arms. And shout out to her husband who held it down while she was locked up. It had to be hard for that new family unit with such a small child, and one income gone now, and it's only him. It had to be really hard to kind of keep it all together. And I know we were praying so hard for her and praying so hard for him. Thank God she's back, and we're still praying. We're still praying.
Yeah, we are, and and for all of the race idolatry we see on the left, you would think this would be something they would be talking about. The DEI has kind of been in the news for the last week or so. And here we have President Trump pardoning these pro-lifers, this family. Biden took a mother away from her daughter and her husband, and now they're reunited, and not a peep from really mainstream media and things like that. So it goes to tell you these people don't care about anything. Unfortunately, there are some people on our side that were pushing back about it too. I know Officer Tatum put out a long video saying she didn't deserve to be pardoned. So I don't agree with that, but I'm so happy. I am so happy she came home. And God works in mysterious ways. We've had Bevelyn on this show multiple times. She is a fiery woman of God. That's one thing you cannot say is she loves the Lord. She's a Christian. Her and her husband are Christians. And I think sometimes I'm like, we think all these different moving parts as far as what worked to get President Trump reelected. But what if God was like, you know what? I need somebody to get this sister out of jail. She needs to be brought home early. And if I got to put Trump in office for this young daughter of the king, I'm going to do it. You never know why God does what he does.
Right.
Of course, we all wanted Trump to be put back in the White House. But what if it was because of Bevelyn? What if he was like, this is affecting my daughter. I got to get her out of jail. Let's put Trump in to get her out. It could be something as simple as that. You know what I mean? I mean,
it could be a myriad of things, but I'm going to tell you, Trump being in the White House has sent ripples across this nation and ripples around this world. He brought home, I think, another 3 or 4 hostages in the last couple of days. Those families who have been waiting for a year, not knowing whether or not their loved one were alive or dead. It is something about someone who's a change maker. And that's what Donald Trump is. He's a change maker, not just for his family, but for all of us. He is definitely making waves. And there's some people who don't like it. And again, there's not much we can do about that. But for those of us who have been waiting,
1 week. Let me just ask you this before we leave, Nicole. Were you expecting him to do this much in his first week?
Yes, girl. Yeah.
I think he outdid himself.
I'm gonna tell you, on the campaign,
I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to do all this, but the first week,
girl, on the campaign trail, some people campaign and that's what they talk about, the campaign. But there were people whose job it was to win the campaign, and people who were already working on things that are happening now. So he was not all eggs in one basket. He was already functioning like a little corporation on the campaign trail. So this is expected things that have happened. We even expected the blowback. There are expected things that are still going to happen that are wonderful and beautiful. And I can't wait. The changes that are coming for this nation, again, for some people, it's going to be hard, and I get it. However, we should have never got to that place in the first place.
Right. You're right.
This is just righting the ship. And sometimes getting right hurts. And this is that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be better in a couple of weeks,
Right. You're right. On our other show here, folks, we have another show, Just the Guys, right here on Metro Conservative Media, Just the Guys YouTube channel. And Giovanni, who is one of the hosts, he said something that I thought was very interesting. He said that Trump is almost like a parent coming home. So you know how your parents split, and maybe your dad leaves, and you're being raised in a single parent household, and your moms are doing the best they can. But when that dad comes back home, he sets the rules, he's setting the pace, it's no more staying out late, I mean, it's just like everything is put back in place, and he is not playing around. Somebody said 3 days. I think we had a super chat. Somebody said it hadn't been a week, it's only 3 days. I mean, this man is working. At last satisfied, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. At last satisfied patriot says, love you ladies. You keep it real and you bring truth. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, he is moving. And Tom Homan with these deportations of these illegals. We got Pete Hegseth. He is now appointed, confirmed. And
Christy Noem.
Right. Christy Noem. She was confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's got the pro-lifers out. He's gotten the J6ers are pardoned. Oh,
everything is falling into place. But with all of the shuffling that's happening now, understand that he's only got 4 years, so he doesn't have any time to waste. He has no time to waste. So we have to, set aside some of our personal grievances. And there are going to be some times where conservatives are going to have to push policy. We're going to have to take the slings, like the whole, kerfluffle with DEI. I mean, my cousin Gary still texting me. Literally, I'm on the show and he's power texting me about what he thinks he's losing by not being a preferred person anymore. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to work through in our own communities and as a nation. But if we're all better off for it in the long run, it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it.
Yeah. Daddy is home. Daddy is home. All right. And I am here for it, folks. I am going to have, again, as I mentioned, we have Just the Guys podcast. Check them out here on YouTube. I have a podcast as well. I'm going to be live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Christian Conservative, KJCJ Christian Conservative. So definitely check me out if you haven't done so already and subscribe. I'm coming back hard for you guys, hard on Sunday nights and Thursday nights. So tomorrow will be the first broadcast of next week, really, because Sunday starts the week. So definitely check me out on there. And then, of course, Pop in Politics will be back on Monday. And All American Talk Show, we check out that channel as well. I mean, we are here. We are out here really just pushing conservative content. And this is what we do here on the Metro Conservative Media Network. So please, we certainly appreciate all of you guys and your support. All right. That does it for us tonight. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.